Jana Nayagan was supposed to be the defining film for Joseph Vijay and should have coincided with his big plunge into politics. However, the film faced last-minute hurdles days ahead of its release with the CBFC, and then in a legal tangle with the certification board led to its release being deferred even further. Much water has flowed under the bridge since then. Vijay became the Chief Minister of the state, and the film has now been certified with 12 cuts from the CBFC. The film will have an uncut overseas release, while it will see 12 cuts as it hits the silver screens here in India. Now, Vijay's party TVK drove to power on Vijay's star power, and this film is expected to do well at the box office. Jana Nayagan has gotten an A certificate in India. The CBFC has granted it an A, or an adults only certificate, and according to the certification document, Jana Nayagan has a runtime of 183 minutes and 11 seconds, a little over 3 hours, and was certified on the 9th of July. In total, the board has ordered 20 seconds of deletions and 10 seconds of replacements, with the film's final runtime remaining unchanged at 183 minutes and 11 seconds. Now, with the release, will the film cement Vijay's power and keep his superstardom going despite his retirement from cinema altogether? And to understand that, we have R. Suresh Kumar, senior journalist, joining us, Gautam Chintamani, film historian, with us. We also have Shekhar Vijayan, political analyst, with us. Thank you all of you for joining us. I'm going to begin by asking Gautam Chintamani, it's not every day that you have a sitting Chief Minister's movie release in the movie theatres with high expectations. The last time this happened was, of course, with the great MGR. And here we are back in that, so, in that sense, it's a defining moment of our times, isn't it? Is it like, there used to be that movie by Steven Spielberg, Back to the Future. This seems like one of those Back to the Future moments, isn't it?
Well, Namaskar. It is a very interesting point because, like you said, that this is the first time, or at least in recent history, it will be a first time when you have a sitting Chief Minister's film come out. I don't think that this film is going to do anything great for Vijay anymore, because the ultimate aim of the film, if you understand, the set and subset of cinema and politics in India, especially in South India, then the film was designed as a vehicle for his launch and foray into politics, which has already happened. He's become the Chief Minister now. I have my doubts about Vijay's retirement. I think it's too young. And keeping in mind, if the film does good, which from all quarters everybody is expecting it to do good, I think we will see Vijay once more on silver screen, if not during the tenure or as long as he holds office. But then who knows? Keeping everything else in mind, I think that the film was planned as a vehicle for his debut to public life. And I think now it would be interesting to see, juxtapose that with what has happened in the last few months. Like you said, a lot of water has flown under the bridge, and Vijay is now the sitting Chief Minister. So it would be interesting to see what happens when the film releases.
Very interesting to see. We're all going to be there. We'll talk maybe, Gautam, after we see the box office collections of Jana Nayagan. But quickly, let me take this across to R. Suresh Kumar, senior journalist. Suresh Kumar, again, you've been, you've seen both. You've watched a movie of MGR when it released. When he is a sitting Chief Minister. Now you are living in the time when Vijay's movie is releasing. You know the kind of questions that were asked. How come a film gets held up at the CBFC for so long? Almost nothing, gets held up for so long. With, I don't know what is their problem with the content of the film. So many cuts. They found it like a hazard for public peace and order that they did not let this movie come through. But unfortunately, for all the critics of the CBFC who said the CBFC is pressured by the central government to hold on to this movie for political purposes against all odds, as the cliche goes, the movie is now out in theatres. It's a interesting time to be in Tamil Nadu, isn't it, Mr. Suresh Kumar?
Yeah, this controversy started in December. Okay. December, the CBFC asked the production house to cut about 12 scenes, which contains sensitive regional, religious sentiment, it'll affect a communal harmony. And second was using Indian Defense Forces, Army, in their film, which they didn't get any permission from the Defense Ministry. And only one member has said, had put out in the censor board, a member, that it should not be released and it should go to the review committee. And the court also asked them to go to the review committee. But before that, what the production house did, before getting certification from the CBFC, which is the autonomy body, they put out that the movie is going to be released on January 9th. This was the hurdle by the production house. And later, as per the court order, they have sent it to the CBFC and it has been given a certificate. Before they asked, if you have to cut this and send it to us, you will get UA. Now it has become A certificate. Now this movie is, Mr. Joseph Vijay has become the Chief Minister of the state. That movie would have been released in January. It was a teaser for him for the assembly polls 2026. But everything is done. But I think Vijay might not retire from films. He'll start acting. I have a serious doubt on that.
First of all, before we go there, before getting with Suresh Kumar, do you think the movie will be a hit?
Hope so. Let us
I'm
hope
asking
so.
this question because the movie was, one of the controversies was that who leaked it online. How is it a film submitted to CBFC gets leaked online? No answers there. Okay, fine. I'll take your word for now that, the CBFC is an autonomous body, no politics involved. It was just procedure that the CBFC was following. Shekhar Vijayan is having a big smile on his face. Shekhar, I want your thoughts.
I think a warm welcome to all my fellow participants and to you, Krishna. See, Jana Nayagan is no longer a film. I think it's Vijay's first report card as a chief minister. We've always seen when you watch movies, the audience isn't really walking into the theater to watch Vijay the actor. They're actually going to be watching each and every move in the movie and how it correlates to what Vijay is representing or how the brand Vijay, what he's all about. So every dialogue, every promise, every commitment, everything, every scene will be subconsciously measured against his performance in the government. That's a level of scrutiny no superstar has faced till now. Also, this 12 cuts, right, have created two different versions of history. Obviously, we in India are going to watch the movie with a lot of cuts. The overseas audience will watch the movies without any cuts. So there is going to be two distinct histories made here, that will be a big point of discussion also on social media. People won't just discuss the film; they'll also discuss what they weren't allowed to see. So I think the real blockbuster will be the narrative angle. After day one, not the box office. The box office, I think it all depends on a lot of factors. The collections will make headlines for the first 48 hours. I think, but what will shape Vijay's legacy is going to be the public conversations after people leave the theater. If audience say this felt like a chief minister speaking, the film enters political history. If they say this was just another commercial entertainer, then it remains a successful movie. So in both ways, I think he's going to win. Veritable outlive numbers, I feel.
Fair point there, Gautam. I wanted to bring this back to the fair point Shekhar Vijay is making. It's a win-win for Vijay one way or the other because it's a win because the movie is releasing. If he wasn't chief minister, the movie will still not release. Suresh Kumar, that is true, right? If he did not win the elections, Jana Nayagan would still not be releasing. Gautam Chintamani, I also heard that the release window had to be timed because, obviously he missed his release window. Other small films which are meant to release, he didn't want to trample on those because he knows that when his film releases, it's going to create a tsunami at the box office one way or the other. At least the first weekend is going to go completely houseful. So a lot of timing, also went on behind the scenes, I'm sure, to decide on the date on when to release the film.
But that's true for any film with a big superstar. To say that he's a little conscious about not trampling the other films, I don't. I think that's a little presumptuous on our part.
Okay.
Also, I don't think that the film would not have released if the film was planned in a way to launch his public persona beyond cinema, then it made sense for the film to come in the window that it was planned in. Like Sureshji was saying that they went ahead and announced the release date. There is nothing odd in that because all big films, blockbuster, intended blockbusters or films with marquee stars, they often have a window in mind when they plan to release the film. It's not like the film would not have released if Vijay had not put his weight behind the film. It is also a point to note that for somebody like Vijay, who's one of the biggest stars of the day, to give up pushing the film. See, CBFC cannot stop a film beyond a point. There is a redressal system. It may take some time, but the bigger the star you are, the more doors open for you. So he could have approached the tribunal, he could have gone to the courts. It would have been possible for him to get the film out in that window. Now, if we are all speculating that it was designed to launch his public career, then it's also sense that once the film comes out, there is great pleasure in anticipation. Like you mentioned Spielberg and Spielberg's production Back to the Future. It reminds me of another Spielberg film, Jaws. The original film was supposed to show the shark right at the beginning, but the mechanical shark was so badly made that then camera operator Michael Chapman, who went on to become a big cinematographer in his own right, kept the camera at the eye level and underwater. He said that we will give it the shark perspective, but we'll never show the shark. And that has become almost like a saying in the cinema industry where you say that you don't show Jaws in the first reel. So I think I agree with one of my fellow panelists, what Shekhar was saying, that it's a win-win for Vijay, because if the film had come out in the window that it was planned to come out, uh, nobody knows whether he would have gone ahead and won the elections or how much of a difference the film would have made. Obviously, the film didn't make that much of a difference. Otherwise, Vijay would have really put his weight behind the film. And these cuts, I think what is interesting here is that, like if you're talking about, a discussion, a post-release discussion, I think one more interesting thing which a lot of people should question now is that for somebody to hold public office, is it fine to release an Indian film without the Indian censor board's certification globally? It is setting a precedence. I'm not saying it is setting a right precedence or a wrong precedence, but in the recent past, last week, we have also seen how Satluj has fared. The film's uh, messaging does not make any bones in celebrating a certain segment of pro-Khalistani sentiment. And for the film to be shown outside completely presents a different message. Here also, if the film is politically rife, was it okay for a sitting chief minister to supersede or to circumvent the Indian censor board and release a film without cuts outside, knowing very well that in this day and age people can actually access that also? So you had the option of doing that earlier also, but you did not do that. You did not approach the courts. I think the film will be entertaining because at the end of the day, Vijay was and continues to be a mass star. And that is why my fellow panelists also agreed with me and put in his own two bits, saying that Vijay will continue to act. So there are a lot of things which will be discussed about brand Vijay, more than the film. I think the film, whatever film was intended to achieve, has already been done. So I think Vijay, for all practical purposes, may just sit back and enjoy this film a little more had it released originally.
Suresh Kumar is sitting back and enjoying all that you're saying. In fact, he's having a big smile on his face. Suresh Kumar, you might not be in agreement with the TVK as a party or, Vijay as a chief minister. But, one way or the other, very difficult to explain to people who are not from Tamil Nadu what it is like to be in Tamil Nadu, isn't it? Almost no other state in the country is going to have a situation of, a sitting chief minister releasing a movie. And it's not even the first time in Tamil Nadu. So I'm just talking to you as a fellow Tamil person. The discussions that we are having is so unique and culture specific. It's not even call it pan South India. This is only Tamil Nadu specific, isn't it?
Krishna Kumar, Mr. Gautam ji was right. Very, very right. without cuts, film being screened abroad, will give a different message to the people. I think CBFC should take care of that too. The uncut should not be released overseas. It's a bad precedent.
Oh,
And,
okay.
one
One second. Suresh Kumar, Gautam Chintamani did not say bad precedent. You are saying bad precedent. You are saying
No,
bad precedent.
I did say that good or bad, it depends.
Huh.
And I gave the example of Satluj, so I agree with Suresh ji here.
Okay.
That it, for
And-
a producer to do
and,
that is a different thing.
And interestingly, this film, only 35% of voters have voted for TVK.
Suresh Kumar, we can't go back to that argument. Anybody,
One minute.
Modi ji also only 35%.
No,
Suresh Kumar, Modi ji also 35%.
1 minute.
Modi ji also 35%. Modi ji also 35%.
No, 1 minute.
Please, we are not going to do that. We are not going to do that, Suresh Kumar. That is very obvious. Don't do that. 35% is any democracy. 35% is any democracy. 35% is any democracy. Not just Vijay. Any prime minister, any chief minister. Why do you talk about 35%?
No, wait. The 65% of the people who did vote for TVK, they too will watch this movie. That is what I'm coming to say.
You
Wait
think
and
so?
listen.
You think so?
They might not have voted,
Huh.
but they want to see the star, Vijay's last movie. They will also watch this movie. That is what I'm coming to the point.
But you believe that he's not going to stop acting? You think that he's going to continue acting?
No, my take is Joseph Vijay will start acting
Okay.
at some point of time.
Not
Because
now.
he's got age.
Okay.
We cannot say because this is a minority government. Anything can happen anytime.
Okay.
Wish.
Like Shekhar Vijay, I'm going to. He's talking about the censorship angle. I want to bring that into focus. After a point, it feels like the way things are censored right now. It's better that we watch all the stuff that has a problem with the censor. Starting with Satluj, such an important story. Can't be played in India. Such an important story. Indians who died, and we can't watch it because it's politically sensitive. Current dispensation. Same, like Suresh Kumar says, the current central government, 35% people only voted in this country. That 35% people, government says that we should not watch Satluj. They release a movie like Obsession in India with so many cuts. Obsession, which is a global obsession of a movie. Our Gen Z has more brains than seems to be the people who are editing the movies for the Gen Zs. So this entire censorship debate is going to come back into focus, isn't it?
Absolutely. See, we have also noticed, Krishna, down the line, any movie with controversy, people want to watch it more. From the likes of Under Queen to now Jana Nayagan, right? The biggest censor today isn't the CBFC. It's actually the public opinion. So audience will decide within 3 hours whether this is a political milestone or just another superstar film. See, Vijay doesn't need a box office victory to prove he's a star. What he's doing right now is it's a win-win situation for him, like I mentioned earlier. He needs a cinematic victory to prove that politics doesn't overshadow the storyteller. And every election has a manifesto. Every superstar has a legacy. So Jana Nayagan is where, Vijay's manifesto and legacy collide. I'm sure the audience is going to watch this and also going to reflect on, his decisions.
But specifically speaking, Suresh Kumar believes that, for example, the fact that you're releasing a version that is not approved by the CBFC overseas doesn't set a good precedent. Do you agree with that?
But then, Krishna, I have another question on this. We had a movie called Durandar, which was also released. I have my friends who were in Dubai who saw the uncut version, and we got to see the cut version. So the consistency with the censor board. Durandar was released with so much of fanfare, right? It was a great movie. We all loved watching
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely. We also know that there was a cut version, uncut version.
Suresh Kumar, you have an answer for that? Durandar, we saw a cut version here in India, a movie that Indians loved.
Yeah, that's okay. But again, most of the films which are cut in, there are a lot of cuts in India, they'll release abroad because there is some sensationality can happen. But this movie, the cuts were because of communal, regional, religion sentiment dialogues were there.
Oh.
And,
Shekhar Vijay is shaking his head. Shekhar Vijay is shaking his head. Shekhar Vijay.
I think it's all about consistency. One rule should apply for all. You cannot have a
No,
rule which is...
that doesn't work. See,
it doesn't work in that.
I'll disagree with that. You can't have one broad brushstroke. I'll give you an example for this. See, uh, CBFC's work is to certify who gets to watch the film in what state or what stage do you get to watch the film. We're talking about Dhurandhar. Dhurandhar, there may have been a cut version or a uncut version which released outside. I'll give you the similar example of JP Datta's LOC. Now, LOC is a film which is based on true factual events taking place in Kargil. But there was a censored version in India which censored out certain abusive language. Being an army kid, growing up in the army environment, I'm quite comfortable with that language because I understand that that language is not as important as the message that it is conveying. But having said that, I totally stand by what CBFC did in editing that out. Just because a certain sensational element is, peppered up or taken out does not change the message. And if it does, then your film stands to test the reason. I agree with you, Shekharji, on that aspect that people will ultimately decide. That's true. There's also a film, where what is it that you're trying to convey? Dhurandhar or any other film that you want to highlight goes through the same process. I'll give you the example of Shekhar Kapoor's Bandit Queen. When Bandit Queen was about to release in India, there were a great number of cuts demanded. It was politically very sensitive. Shekhar fought the long fight. In fact, before the release of the film, Filmfare at that time gave Shekhar Kapoor the Best Director Award in the critics segment. And Shekhar Kapoor very famously went onto the stage with his hands in a handcuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he went to the courts and the film was released in India without a single cut after going through the process. It's right or wrong. I'm nobody to comment on that, but there is a process, and in that aspect, for a chief minister to do that, Vijay could have done this months ago. What stopped him from releasing the film outside without any cuts? But at that time, because he's going for public office, he cannot do that. Now that he's in public office, what kind of precedence is he setting? Tomorrow, then nobody's going to follow this whole rule of the law of the land. And when it comes to Satluj, I am not saying that the story should not be seen or heard, but there is a process that needs to be followed, and it does not make any bones about being pro-Khalistani. And we all know the sentiment in Canada and the bubble that we live in, India. Just because India seems safe right now does not mean that the government or the agencies are not doing their best to keep it that way. In 2015, I mean, this is going away from the conversation, but in 2015, there was a report presented in the Pakistan Senate, which recommended highlighting any caste-based or any difference in India for its purpose to be met. This is something which has been used. K2 is a formula which is being used. There is a sense of separatism lurking at various states in India. And just because something is entertaining or something needs to be said, there's nobody denying that. I mean, Satluj, why would then Satluj be released on OTT and then taken out? So there are a lot of questions which need to be answered. But coming back to Vijay's film, I think that the film has already achieved what it sets out to achieve. So as an audience, also, I think we can sit back and enjoy the film without worrying about what is it going to do tomorrow, because the tomorrow has already come and Joseph Vijay is the sitting Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. So I, for one, am going to just watch it without any baggage.
Yeah. My only question is, both for Shekhar, and Gautam, this doesn't involve Suresh Kumar. I just hope it's like a good film to watch after all of this. Shekhar, isn't it? Like for me, as a pure play moviegoer, Gautam, you too, for all the talk around politics and censorship and everything, we just really hope that the film is a good time at the cinemas, isn't it, Suresh?
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we'll watch the movie sometime between June end. Then we'll sit back.
We will talk. We will watch the movie and then we'll come back and have the conversation again. I want all of you again.
Another one. We'll have a debate.
Yeah.
All three of us will sit. We'll have the pros and cons of the movie.
Yeah.
We'll discuss.
And as Gautam Chintamani was saying, the first 48 hours, the box office collections and that talk, that should be interesting as well. I'm sure all the detractors of Vijay will pounce on the movie if the collections are below expectations, and all the supporters will come, in charging in support. But As the Chinese proverb goes, may we live in interesting times. We surely are living in interesting times. We're completely out of time here on that conversation. But Shekhar Vijayan, Suresh Kumar and Gautam Chintamani, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on In Your Interest on News9.